joke about it, but it's actually serious. It will be truly one of my best memories. I know it will be as mayor.
What does it mean to the city of Fort Worth to get part of the stage for the World Cup?
Well, you got to think about the context for the competition we underwent between all these other wonderful U.S. cities that competed for the games. It took a tremendous amount of coordination. Really, Visit Fort Worth deserves huge kudos for coordinating with Visit Dallas, of course, Frisco, FC Dallas, to say, hey, DFW deserves to be a really significant seat for the FIFA World Cup in North America. And obviously we were successful, but this was years in the planning. And I remember vividly the day that we announced, obviously, in downtown Dallas, and we're a huge part of this effort. And truthfully, Scoop, it just is a reflection of what makes DFW so great. This metro region that continues to grow and thrive together, and this is our opportunity to really work together to put on a world-class event, and I know we're ready for it.
So you got Dallas, Arlington, Frisco hosting. What's going to make Fort Worth stand out to World Cup attendees?
Well, there are a multitude of things, right? I mean, being a host city as a part of DFW, the culture that is so rich and unique here. It was fun, Visit Fort Worth could give you a little more inside baseball when they brought folks here from FIFA to see our city specifically, to showcase all the different sites you could have, official parties, non-official watch parties. They immediately said, okay, now we get it. This city has such a unique character and culture that we want to be a part of. And I know for a fact that people are going to travel from all over the world and they're going to choose to stay in Fort Worth. They're going to want to spend most of their time here in our city. But that's the great thing about DFW, right? There's something for everybody. And obviously our close proximity to the city of Arlington, where the games will be hosted there at AT&T Stadium. We worked really closely with the mayor of Arlington and the mayor of Dallas and all the coordination that took place to make sure this was possible. But I think you're going to see some really creative things out of the city of Fort Worth to make sure we're marketing our city well. Because this is a huge economic boom today, but we see this as an opportunity to really put us on a world stage for people that didn't really understand the significance of our city.
Okay, what's in our culture that's going to make us stand out?
Yeah, well, it's the obvious things, right? It's that Western heritage that's so unique. I mean, we already know that we have 11 million people come to the stockyards every single year already. That's just going to be a continuation. People are kind and good here. Our restaurant scene is thriving. Beautiful hotels, parks, open space for people to visit. Of course, the cultural district is world class. People want to come and see that as well. We're also known as a sports community. Our sports tourism organization through Visit Fort Worth has done a tremendous amount of work to really refocus efforts around sports tourism in the city of Fort Worth. We love the Mavericks, we love the Rangers, and we love the Cowboys. We have our own thing going on here on the western part of the Metroplex, and that just all feeds into, these sports fans are coming from all over the world to see their team play.
Okay, so what does Mayor Parker say to Fort Worth's business community, whether you run a food truck, a restaurant, a hotel? What do you say to them about getting ready for this?
Well, number one is get ready to make some money, right? That's the most important thing, is the economic boom that'll be to our local economy. But number two is be ready to have that world-class Fort Worth hospitality that we know that we are known for here in the city of Fort Worth. Because the opportunity is really not just for one-time visitors. They want to come back year after seeing this city in action. And I know for a fact, as I've talked to them, our restaurateurs, our businesses here, our hotels are all preparing for these hundreds of thousands of people that are going to descend on DFW and be a part of the action. Whether they're going to the games or not, that's what's amazing. You've got tens of thousands of people that don't have tickets to a game, but they want to be there for a watch party in close proximity to watch their team play. And so we've been visiting really closely with all the businesses that will have a huge impact here in the city of Fort Worth. The other thing I think that's very critical that our businesses need to know is that we're preparing from an infrastructure standpoint and from a public safety standpoint. Because let's be honest, we're still a city of 1 million people. We still have to function even though you have all these visitors coming into the city. But thanks to the really amazing effort by Visit to pull everybody together as a coalition, along with our city resources, we're preparing to have that influx of folks that are going to be in our city in the summer of 2026, but at the same time be able to run a city normally and make sure your residents here don't feel like they're overwhelmed.
All right, what's been your conversations about safety?
Yeah. Well, this is a conversation that every single American city that's been awarded a game is having, and we're having them at a federal level, but in localized. Here's what's one thing that's really unique about Dallas-Fort Worth. All of our law enforcement agencies and public safety organizations already work very closely together. And that is just continuing, really tenfold to get prepared for this summer 2026 games. And that's multiple agencies, it's federal agencies as well, and making sure we have on-the-ground support. And honestly, you see other big events happen where these agencies can really coordinate, work together. A great example I can give you is when the Texas Rangers won the World Series and they had this amazing parade in the city of Arlington, cresting over 500,000 people in one location. Multiple agencies really activated to participate in that parade to make sure they could kind of see what it looked like for crowd control. That same type of practice run is really important as they prepare for the World Cup.
What do you want people to say after visiting Fort Worth from around the world? What do you want them to say about Fort Worth?
Well, I'm going to use the commercial and the tagline that we created a few years ago, that Visit produced. You probably saw it with Jimmy Stewart's voice, The Unexpected City. I would love for people to feel like that was true about Fort Worth. They didn't know about us beforehand. They had no idea we're the 10th largest city in America with all of this world-class culture to offer them. A true experience, what I consider a true quintessential Texas city. To be able to fly into DFW Airport, the third busiest airport in the world, and get here so quickly on a direct flight. We're 30 minutes, downtown Fort Worth is 30 minutes from the airport, and experience a true unexpected city, a place that they never thought they'd get the opportunity to visit and honestly enjoy, and importantly, that they want to come back to with their families.
Yeah, for your presentation this afternoon, are there any reveals?
No, I don't think so. I think it's really a traditional update from Visit Fort Worth. And that's important, right, to be on a regular cadence with the city council and with other city leaders to make sure we're supporting them and vice versa. So I don't think this afternoon will be too surprising for you. You're following it pretty closely, yeah.
So in the past, as Fort Worth has grown, by the hundreds, there are times when there are not enough hotel rooms and people have to stay in surrounding areas. Has there been conversations about that at all?
Well, the good thing is you're going to see hotels activated throughout Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, I fully expect us to be at full capacity at every major hotel here in Fort Worth. So you're naturally going to have spillover. But again, we've been focused on building out hotel capacity for really the last decade, and really making sure we're talking to the right hoteliers to build and develop, to make it easier to do business here. And as a result, you've seen a tremendous amount of new hotel rooms and new keys opening over the last several years in preparation for World Cup, which does help the equation.
For people who will just be in the city, our residents, what do you want to say to them about welcoming the visitors, welcoming people from out of the country who have never experienced Fort Worth, who have never experienced our culture?
I would just say be yourselves. I mean, Fort Worth is already known to be this incredibly kind, welcoming community, a lot of fun, interest in other people's cultures and the diversity that's going to be here in our city. I don't worry about that at all. It's really making sure on the front end we're explaining to residents what the influx of people will look like, where the activations are going to be, what the host teams look like for the 9 teams, the dime games we're going to see here in DFW, and importantly, let these folks experience Fort Worth in their own unique ways. And that's where really our relationship with Visit is so important, how to market the city well to the visitors and the teams that are here and let them choose Fort Worth for a specific reason, attend watch parties. That's really important to me, is make sure our residents experience a World Cup for themselves, even if they're not going to go to a game at AT&T Stadium. I was lucky in 2006, I went to Germany, the World Cup, having never watched a real soccer game in my life. And it is imprinted in my memory. It was such a fun experience to get to see in person. And it definitely made a mark on me, and I want to offer that to our residents here. Imagine just getting to go to a watch party just a few minutes from your house and experience what it's like to see a World Cup game. It's pretty special.
Yeah. So for this to happen under your watch, take off your mayor hat. Yeah. What does this mean to Mattie?
Oh, it's going to be a blast. I'm finally cool to my 14-year-old son, right? He's like, Mom, you're going to be mayor when the World Cup comes, right? He's backing into the equation. And now my 9-year-old's kind of about it too. And I love that. I joke about it, but it's actually serious. It will be truly one of my best memories, I know it will be, as mayor, to get to preside over a city that is a part of this host community that's done such a great job working together. I mean, for Dallas-Fort Worth to be awarded the number of games we were awarded, to coordinate with AT&T Stadium, with City of Arlington and Jerry Jones and the Cowboys, to get the stadium ready and prepared, to convince FIFA and really compete mightily with these other Texas cities and regions that we're preparing to host the games is a big deal for us in Fort Worth, and we should be incredibly proud, because I can promise you, Scoop, without Fort Worth at the table, we would not have been awarded this opportunity. I'm confident that the Dallas-Fort Worth region did this together, and I'm really proud of the work we did on the Fort Worth side.
For families in Fort Worth who have made, for whatever reason, soccer part of their life because of their kids playing soccer, what do you say to them about the opportunity to experience a World Cup event?
Well, first of all, find what works for your family, and way to watch the games, whether you go to a stadium and find tickets or you go to a watch party. And we're thinking about that too, by the way, Scoop. The official watch parties that FIFA will sanction is one thing, but you're going to see pop-up parties all over the city of Fort Worth, people wanting to be a part of the action. And that's where I think our neighborhoods get to participate and have a really unique experience, which is so important. But specific to youth sports and soccer specifically, and how many families across DFW, this is their number one sport, number one growth in youth sports for kiddos, we continue to see the need for additional sports fields and support for youth sports, specifically around soccer. That's a big effort by our sports tourism committee and the work at Visit Fort Worth. And so this all segues into that, and I think you're going to see additional excitement even post-2026 as we think about being a true destination for youth sports as well.
If TCU is chosen, what would that mean for the city, and what would that mean for TCU?
Oh, puts TCU on a world stage, puts the city on a world stage. You've probably been back behind the scenes to see TCU's athletic facilities. They are amazing, and I think that shows incredibly well. TCU deserves a lot of credit. This is not easy either, to show your enthusiasm and the nuts and bolts of the contract to be able to host a team. You don't know who you're going to host either. You have to be prepared for that, allow them to kind of take over your facilities. But to their credit, from the very beginning, President Pullen and the entire team said, we're all in. Let us know what we can do to roll out the red carpet. They've gone through multiple visits. So I am so hopeful, but also really confident that we'll get to host a team at TCU. And again, for the university that continues to grow and prosper and have such success, it really is indicative of where TCU is today, but importantly, where they want to go in the future. And I know that President Pullen and his entire board really saw that opportunity, and that's why they seized upon it and worked so closely with our team.